I don't know what this is about.
There's a whole lot of weird statements and allegations and content nukes and all this kind of stuff being levied against me, and I've refuted those things in many different locations on the internet, but I thought it'd be good to put together this video so you guys had it all in one location.
I don't understand why this guy is getting so much, what's the word? He seems like he's been in a lot of drama recently. I'm genuinely curious as to why. You know, I guess we'll find out. But he's been getting the dirty end of the stick for quite a bit.
Because people are fighting over little pieces of information and ones that they hadn't heard and all of this kind of stuff everywhere that they can. So if I put it all in one location, it's much easier for you guys to find everything, and then you can just divert people to this instead. Much easier. And no, I'm not going to monetize this video. I just want to get this out there so you guys can actually see what the hell is going on the other side. Number 1, Maldavius Fig Tree. This is the character that everyone's talking about. You'll actually see this posted all over the internet with people trying to use it as some kind of a gotcha against me. Except this character's never been secret. I talk about it all the time on stream, and I usually refer to Second Life, which is where this character resides, as an adult version of Roblox. And this character isn't just used in Second Life either. In fact, I've used it in other games. Kill the Moon is a demo that I never ended up releasing because it kind of sucks. It was fun to build, something kind of a side thing.
Oh,
it took us
cool.
maybe 2 months to do, and it was a good exercise, kind of like doing a game jam. But there's the character. I use him everywhere because it's my cool old object head character, and I like that kind of a thing. With that in mind, the allegations that were brought against me were pretty goddamn heavy, but they're also not the first time they've been brought against me. The first time was in August of 2024, where I had to put out this announcement that's still up in the news channel on our Discord. I said apparently some people believe that I ripped off an underage artist 16 years ago. That artist went by Wingless Emoto at the time and is now known as Mameface on Twitter. They were 17 and I was 19 when all of this went down, and no, we never did anything sexual together. We made avatars in Second Life and our work was really popular. And by really popular, I mean we were one of like the top 3 avatar creators at the time. The two of us made about $5,000 to $10,000 US every month doing this. They did all the models and I did all the programming in LSL. This is part of me being a freelancer back in the day before my career really took off. We had a falling out over pay splits and Wingless open sourced our work. Wingless wanted 80-20. Our agreement was 50-50. When I said no, Wingless took all of our stuff, sent it out to the entire world with full permissions. Second Life has a permission system where you can change the permissions that the next user has, and by checking all of the boxes, they had free reign to distribute, modify, and copy our work infinitely. They never got fired, they quit on their own and did this on the way out. Tabloids at the time do what tabloids do. We were kind of a big deal in the game at the time for the avatars we were selling, so they made extreme and idiotic statements and took the side of just the artists without reaching out to me. These tabloids still exist, and people are starting to dig them up now. That's it. This is 20-year-old drama. Now here's the interesting part. Mame and I made up 4 to 5 years later. We've been best friends ever since. You can actually reach out to them and confirm any of this. We'd been talking about them coming on stream to stop this tide of idiocy because this isn't the first time. This isn't even the second time. This has happened for years. People try to do it all the time to try and take me down, and the two of us always shut it down together because it's wrong. It's completely wrong. And it's using Wingless, or Mameface, as a weapon to try to bludgeon me when we're friends. And if you don't believe me, well, let's just go look at it together. Here's the post by Wingless, Mameface. I'm Wingless Emoto. I really was 17, and nothing sexual happened. If anything had happened, I would have outed him in 2008. See, there's the problem. They made this post publicly on the internet, and people didn't care. In fact, they also made this post publicly on YouTube, on the content nuke for this, and people didn't care. They tried to say that Wingless was actually a sock puppet.
Wait, what? Hi, I'm Wingless Emoto. I don't know where people are getting this misinformation, but I was 16. Oh. That I was 16, but I was definitely 17. Nothing about the avatars I made were sexually charged. They were just standard PG dog costumes.
Account of mine, except Mameface's account here is from 2013. And then they try to say, oh, well, maybe it's him anyway, and he's just been playing the long game. The goalposts keep shifting, but we keep providing evidence. From there, somebody actually did try to impersonate Mameface with a Wingless Emoto YouTube account. The only account they ever had before was Wingless Chimera. And the reason why is because Wingless Emoto is a Second Life name. Emoto is the last name that you could choose from a list of names to put on your character, kind of like mine had Fig Tree. And at the time, there was no way to change this. Their handle was never Wingless Emoto. It was Wingless Chimera and now Mameface. And when the internet inevitably brings this up in another 3 months to 6 months, I'll just show them this video because we've refuted this time and time again. And the two of us are still friends after almost 2 decades. You're not going to kill that. And you're not going to kill me with these allegations.
Oh boy.
Now for the second one, Asmongold. I recently went on Asmongold's stream and I talked about a game called Ashes of Creation. People feel betrayed that I talked to Asmongold in the first place because they feel like his ideals will somehow seep into our community and they're inherently negative. They also feel very angry because a lot of people in the comments on things like Twitter were going and attacking them, and they feel like that's somehow a core part of our community.
I'm gonna just do a blind guess here. That's interesting that he said his ideals. I understand that Asmongold he's been saying some things that he knows how to farm content way too well, I think. And I think again, this is just blind. I'm surprised. I don't know why, but it comes as genuine surprise that these two talk to each other, because I see Pirate as someone who, I don't know, would decide to steer clear from Asmon's community. I don't know why. That's just. But anyways, I'm curious to hear about this.
So let's get into that. This video came out from a content creator called Narc. The reason that I had the conversation with Asmongold in the first place is because of this. As you can see, it shows a desert that's kind of, well, drab and empty. Narc's video talks about how he felt betrayed by the developers, and he felt like the game was a scam, and he showcased this desert as an example of those feelings, saying the desert had not been completed and that there was nothing there. He had actually misrepresented the content here. You see, this is the very edge of the map in an area that's not finished in a very early alpha version of the game. And in the game today, still in alpha, it looks like this.
Damn.
And it's really, really cool looking. By misrepresenting that on Asmongold's stream, he actually set the tone to 50,000 plus people. Now, to understand how big of a deal that is, Ashes of Creation's primary Discord only has about 100,000 members. Our community is about 20,000 of those. We play this game all the time. So I'm very invested in wanting to play this. I really enjoy this game, as do many other members of our community. And the moment those calls went out saying the game was a scam, Asmongold's chat started to fill up with people echoing that sentiment, because they had no other information. Right after this, Asmongold had on Stephen Sharif, the creative director for the game, and he showed off the desert to the best of his ability and refuted the claims. The problem was, some of the people in chat were still saying, oh, that's fake, that's the developer, he's lying just to get money. So I went on, reached out to Asmongold, and said, hey, I've had 500 hours in this, come and talk to me. And he had me on. We talked about it for about an hour, and I produced this video that's about 35 minutes long as a result of that. And the whole thing is...
I wonder if, like, a bunch of people in Asmongold's, like, community and chat saying that, oh, they don't believe this, they don't believe that, is, like, indicative of how Asmongold runs his community, though.
Me basically talking about the game and Asmongold saying, That's kind of the whole thing. It's like a live react video. If you've ever seen his content, you understand what I'm talking about. There's nothing in here that's inflammatory. There's nothing in here that promotes hateful rhetoric, as people have been claiming. And this is all very mundane. So right after I put this out, a lot of people were really angry. So I had to put out a statement about it. I said, a lot of people are mad that I talked to Asmongold recently about Ashes of Creation. I can see all of your comments and messages about this through YouTube and here on Twitter. In this instance, another creator made a disparaging video about the game, and Asmon didn't have enough game knowledge to talk about it.
I will say what this guy did is very, like, the fact that, like, he went through the smoke, because I guess he likes his game Ashes of Creation. I've never played it. I should try this game. It seems interesting. Maybe I'll try it today. The fact that he went through the smoke to clear the air, because, you know, he seems very passionate about this game, was very nice, because he definitely didn't have to do,
because he hasn't had the chance to play it. So this immediately makes the audience have a negative opinion of something with nobody there to say otherwise. I have over 500 hours in the game and refuted the video by the other creator. As Asmon's channel was the flashpoint for this, it makes sense to talk to him about the situation and clear the air of bullshit. We did this live on Twitch the same day it happened. In the internet of today, if you don't say something, then the room will fill up with people who do. I chose to help set the record straight on this, and I'm glad to have done so. If you want to cancel me for this, for talking to him, that's fine, but I would do this again given the chance. The developers don't deserve unwarranted hate, and I would do this again given the chance. The reason why is because as many people on the internet tried to state I was platforming him and his ideals by doing this, his community is massive. compared to ours. If you have all of those people with a negative sentiment about the game and they have absolutely no other information to refute it, they're just going to go trash the game. And I don't think those developers deserve that level of hate whatsoever. And if I have an opportunity to fix that before it becomes terrible and out of hand, then why wouldn't I take that opportunity? For those of you who think that I gained money from this or anything like that, I didn't. This was not a financially advisable thing to do. People are pissed about me taking a stance on that, but I think it's the right thing to do. If you see something that's false, say something about it. And if you don't like that I talk to him about it, that's fine. If your whole entire idea here is to try to take down Asmongold, and the only way you can think to do that is by coming after me for having a conversation about a video game, you're not going to get that accomplished, and it doesn't make any sense. From there, I've had to put out another one, and I was kind of pissed about it, so I originally deleted my...
Wait. People are coming after him to take down Asmongold. That's nefarious.
First post. Because I basically just said, this is why I did it. I'd do it again. It was a little crass for me, so I deleted the comment. Under those circumstances, I would have absolutely had that conversation again. Prior to me being on with him, another creator was there defaming the developers and the game we talked about. As Asmongold didn't have an understanding of the game, he couldn't refute the claims. It was being bashed to 50,000 plus people, which is a death sentence for games of this size and at this early alpha stage of development. And by the way, these are the types of allegations that have been brought about it for years. And after we had that talk, they've all but disappeared. We barely ever get those types of statements in chat anymore. It's really nice now that that air has been cleared. So it had a definitive positive effect on the sentiment for the game. So to reach out to Asmon, as I have 500 hours in this is just a repetition of the same stuff. But threads like this are just filled with people that are bashing me for just having the conversation. I don't think anyone should ever be restricted from having a normal conversation about normal things. I think the idea of going after someone for guilt by association is really dangerous. You can be mad at me for things that are real, but if you're mad at me because I spoke to someone that you disagree with, this is going to get really out of hand really quickly. And I don't want that kind of environment, and our community is definitely not that kind of environment. You can and should be able to speak to anyone about anything that you want to. And if people are going to go off the deep end to attack you for that, we're more cooked than I thought. Heartbound.
We are very cooked.
People are currently review bombing this. They're very upset. And I can understand why in some of those cases, I haven't worked on the game for the last year. I could have communicated better this entire time, though, and that's completely on me. I'm a dumbass for not putting out more announcement posts and releasing information to you guys to let you know that what was going on, and I was stressed the entire time and acting like a fool. With that in mind, I've started putting out updates on this game again. We actually put the first one out on January 19th, 2025. I made an announcement out to the Discord about this on that date, saying that we'd be moving to monthly update builds. Everybody was really excited about this, and they're quite happy with it. I then put out a video talking about what was going on and why this all happened. People seem to really like this. It's sitting at 4K likes on it. It's got about 93,000 views, and most of the people inside of the core community were really excited about the prospect of the game coming out now. And we have it all listed in timestamps for everything that's going on there and why we're doing all of this kind of stuff. With that in mind, this led to the review bomb, but it didn't stop me from working on it. On February 1st, I released the first patch, just like I said I was going to. We put out the patch notes for it, I made another announcement on the Discord, and I plan to make the next patch on March 1st. In fact, I work on it all the time. I was even showing it off on stream earlier. This is part of the new environment that I'm putting together to be able to get this out to the rest of the public on March 1st. There's a lot of dialogue in here, and it's the end of a chapter, so there's a huge amount of stuff that I have to do. I've also updated the Heartbound ARG in the background, which a lot of people don't even realize is there. But we'll talk more about ARGs and puzzle mechanic stuff later. So with all of that in mind, if you're still upset at me about this, I get it. For those valid reasons of not communicating and not putting out information and not putting out updates to the game, I understand and I hear you, and I'm sorry for that. For the other amount of posts that are on there, there's quite a lot of them that you'll find inside of those reviews that aren't even about the video game. They'll put things in there like Maldavia's Fig Tree, which we discussed from the first part of this video, or complaining about me talking to Asmongold, or saying Mana Gem from World of Warcraft, because they still haven't let that go, or all the other shit that goes on in there. It's all of the allegations all of the time, and because of that, I had to lock down the Steam forums to stop people from talking about this stuff, because it's incredibly obnoxious. Not to stop them from giving critique, or, saying like, oh, you did a bad thing. Stopping them from doing things like posting my home address and telling me to kill myself, because that's what a lot of them were. And we reported those to Steam, and I can thank you, Steam, for banning those accounts for doing that. If you're just a normal player caught in the crossfire, again, I am sorry. Please wait until March 1st and the 1st of every month thereafter for the next updates. Now for the next one, which is Ashes of Creation. Ashes of Creation is an MMO that is in very early alpha. I actually talked about it earlier in this video during the Asmongold segment. Something that I play quite frequently, and I play on the Lyneth server, and I am currently the mayor of Halcyon. I actually just got re-elected. So thank you, glorious population. With that in mind, it's a game that is a social sandbox. And if you've never played one of those, they're usually built on player conflict. There's a lot of propaganda that's put out. There's a lot of shit talking between players and things like that. Very similar to EVE Online or Albion or Foxhole. If you've ever played Foxhole before, you know that the wardens eat babies as an example of propaganda, right? Very simple stuff. Collies definitely don't.
What?
So with that in mind, this server is rife with this kind of behavior. It's very normal. And there's a lot of tension on the line because we're constantly combating each other and trying to get the upper hand through different resources. In one of those groups that I was in, inside of my own guild, I accidentally pulled something with a spell called Ball Lightning. And you can see it kind of off in the back there. I thought somebody else in the group pulled this, and I was really pissed off, and I blamed the rest of the team. And the reason why I had done that is because earlier on in the fights, people just kept pulling random shit. And then I accidentally pulled random shit, and I looked like a dumbass because I was an angry dumbass. This was entirely my fault. And later on, when we reviewed the footage, we realized it was entirely my fault, and then I apologized to everyone involved. Later on, we ended the raid, and we moved on to other content. All of these people are still in the guild, and we still run with each other all the time. So I know people on the internet get really agitated about stuff clipped out of context, but here I was mad, and then we worked it out. Outside of that, the weird narratives that I've somehow been kicked from the server are completely false. As you've seen on my earlier part of this video, I'm on a flying mount. Flying mounts are only available for mayors after getting reelected by people where they have to vote on me. We're also the dominant force on the server. We fight with everyone all of the time, as we should in any PvP-focused game, and we give a lot of reports and reviews and bug reports to the developers all the time. We also run internal information and have a thriving community of about 22,000 people on the Discord specifically for this game. So, not going anywhere. I haven't been kicked out, and this wasn't that big of a deal, even though I was a jackass in it.
Nice.
Now to the next one, where people are calling me a Nepo baby. For those who don't understand the term, a Nepo baby is somebody who got their job only through nepotism, never accomplished anything in their career, and
They're calling him a... It must be... Damn, I'm so out of touch with this guy. This one's going to be interesting.
never did anything to deserve the position that they have. My father was the cinematic director for Blizzard for 23 years. He worked on basically everything going all the way back to the death and return of Superman and many other games all the way up until now. And then he quit. He went off to Jagex and he worked on old school RuneScape, I believe as a creative director of some kind. With that in mind,
That's
he now
crazy.
streams on Twitch under the name of Yearjoy. People think that I got my job at Blizzard specifically because of him. In reality, I only had help from him in order to do my resume. But you're probably not going to believe me to say that, so I'm going to let him say it.
I remember one time he had, his boss had come to me because he came to me to apologize that one of his people talked to me. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Wait, this guy streams on Twitch? That's crazy.
He goes, well, Thor came up and was talking to you, and I don't think that's appropriate and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. I go, just
Wait, let me listen.
talking to you. And I'm like,
Let me listen to
Say
this.
it.
I remember one time he had, his boss had come to me because he came to me to apologize that one of his people talked to me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, Thor came up and was talking to you, and I don't think that's appropriate and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. I go, just so you know, I'm going to keep talking to Thor when he comes and talks to me because he's my son. This was 2 years after he worked for this guy, and this guy did not
So funny thing here, he actually got the timeline wrong. That was
What?
4 years into my career.
know that Thor was my son, and that it's okay for Thor to come talk to me. You know, but it was in public. It was in the quad at work. It's just, but it's like, no, he can talk to me anytime, just like anybody else at Blizzard could come talk to me.
For those who don't understand what's going on there, my own boss didn't know who my dad was. It's really hard to be a
That's
Nepo
pretty
baby
funny.
when the people who control your career have no idea who your connections are. Aside from that, for the people who have this narrative, both myself and my brother applied at the same time. I got the job, and my brother didn't. Where was the nepotism for him? And now for the next one. People saying that I'm using a voice changer. I can actually just control the vocal range of my voice. Just go like this and talk all the way down to the bottom of your vocal range. This isn't that hard. Then you go like this all the way up into your nose and talk like this. Amazingly, people's voices change over time, and they do this at different ages.
What difference does it make whether... That's crazy. Anyways.
as you go through life. On top of this, streaming and talking for 12 hours a day doesn't make that any easier or better. Outside of this, you can actually catch me on a bunch of other content creators' channels. I went and did a tailgate party with Esfand in real life.
I'm going to tell you right now, Dick's is good.
Yeah.
As you can see.
Yeah, no, I mean, these people are huge
Everyone
fans of
lines
Dick's.
up for Dick's.
I was in the middle of a forest with Bao.
A lot of mushrooms, like, you can only determine what they are by touching them or smelling them or tasting them.
I've been in the Streamer Awards, giving speeches.
Since 2016, actually. So, like,
When I heard his voice at the Streamer Awards, I was like, I did think to myself, like, oh, you know, maybe this guy uses something to make his voice sound better on oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm so bad at this. So when I heard this guy's voice at the Stream Awards, I did listen to his voice. I thought to myself, oh, maybe this guy, you know, alters his voice to make himself sound better via his shorts. But who the fuck cares? Honestly, he gives good advice. He's genuine, and if he's changing his voice so that it's a little bit deeper because he likes it that way, then, you know, so what?
I cut it during that because I worked for the government that made me cut it, and then I just never cut it before that either.
I also got caught by NMP LOL right out there on the street.
Nick, my chat wanted me to say hi.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice
yeah,
to meet
they're freaking out. You know? Yeah, so sorry. Just have a good day.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, bye.
And you'll find that my
That's-
voice is
that's
just
so
about
cute.
the same range the entire time. It goes up when I'm excited or nervous. It goes down when I'm tired or bored, just like everybody else. It's really weird that people are obsessing about each and every little thing, but I guess that's the nature of the internet. If you don't believe me on this, I can't really fix this one for you, because anytime that I'd make something online, people would just claim it's doctored in some way. There were even people saying that they had hidden a voice changer inside of the microphone at the Streamer Awards, or that I got some kind of an implant in order to change my voice. And now for the last one. People claiming that I cheated in puzzle games, specifically Animal Well and Outer Wilds. Both of those games are games that I
Oh,
played
boy.
live on stream. We had a whole blast of
I
fun
need to
with
play
it. People in the
Animal
community really enjoyed it, and they were very, very long periods of time for both games. I believe Outer Wilds was beaten in one sitting, but it was a very long period of time. And Animal Well, I think, took the better part of a week at that point. I think it was like 40 hours on stream and 80 hours overall, most of which was just us sitting around trying to solve puzzles and do weird shit on stream. A lot of people say that I cheated because I looked at my phone, because it was right here. Why would I cheat with my phone when I have a 3-monitor setup? It's a pretty easy way to talk about this. I have one monitor here that actually shows broadcast information, usually using game capture, so I could put a guide up here if I wanted to in the first place. This one is just OBS.
it
I could put it right
cheating
next
if
to
you-
chat there, and it'd be really easy to hide it because I'm
never mind.
constantly looking at chat anyway. Or I could put it on the right and put it on another one where I put all my social media stuff. It doesn't make any sense to use a phone to look at a guide while you're running through a game like that when you could just look at anything else. Aside from that, I have a very long history in beating puzzle challenges. So let's get into it. This is Potato Hat Security, our old Team Potato with a whole bunch of guides for DEF CON challenges that we've solved throughout the years. My name on here is Jason Thor Hall. I go by the middle name of Thor for a reason, because it is my middle name. Brett Beerhouse is the person that I got
That's
to go
pretty
run
cool.
with. He's a good buddy of mine back from the Blizzard days. DEF CON 22 was the first challenge that we actually went up against. And we didn't win, but we beat it. There was a shitload of puzzles that went along through this, and we had a blast doing this and learned a lot about cryptographic methods. I didn't know anything at the time when I first stepped into this arena back in DEF CON 22. That
How's
was
it
back
going,
in
Neil?
2014. After this was over,
Good to
I went
see you.
home and I tried to learn as much as I possibly could about cryptographic methods, hiding information, and reading books
Why are you so quiet?
this
What
one.
do you mean quiet?
called Code, The Hidden Language of Computer Hardware and
Like
Software
my
by
mic
Charles
isn't
Petzold.
loud, or-
Awesome book, shitload of methods in it. I have a ton of books like this now because of this. And I went
I'm
home
not
and started
saying
making my
anything.
own on a website called potatoplaid.net. Made it with Brett. It's actually defunct now, but it had a ton of our own custom puzzle challenges on it. Then we went back to DEF CON 23, and we teamed up with a team called Council of Nine. After doing really well in the first challenge in 22, they wanted to have us on the team, and we agreed to join them, and we won. I got to write up this entire write-up this year as well, and we solved a bunch of cool shit together.
Like my mic volume is low? Is that what you mean? Because that's not good. Maybe I could turn it up a little bit like this. Does this sound any better? Oh, really? Huh. Okay.
One of the ones that I really had a blast working on
Well,
was
that's-
specifically the audio.
That's
one where I got
unfortunate
to
because
dive
we are in the middle of a recording, but
into DTMF using specifically
well.
Audacity to visualize the information. I love this. These types of things are really awesome. So whenever I play a puzzle game and I know that
no,
there's
you're
gonna be
good. I wish
cryptographic methods
somebody would have
involved,
told
I
me
eat
earlier.
that shit up.
but
dude.
I think it
And
was
if you're
fine earlier too.
Wondering if
I think it's just how people hear it, you know?
actually did go to that. Here's the badge for it. DEF CON 23. It's a radioactive
No, you're not-
badge
you're not
that was actually
interrupting
obtained
anything.
through winning
It's
that
all
puzzle
good.
challenge that year. On the back, you can see that there's a Lichtenberg figure, which is hit by plasma to create a small lightning configuration across it. There's also
You have nothing
another
to
puzzle on
apologize
the
for.
back
I
of
would've-
this that was solved by
I would have said
CryptoK on
something
Twitter.
earlier.
It's a running key cipher, and he built a way of cracking certain running key ciphers. After that, we went back at DEF CON 24, and we won again. DEF CON 24, we got a robot head. This is another black badge for winning a DEF CON challenge that is particularly hard. DEF CON 24 was actually written up on Council of Nine's website because I was still running with them at the time as well, but I think their challenge page is defunct now, unfortunately. I wish we still had it because I really, really enjoyed that challenge and doing that with them. The next year I left and I went and joined what is called the Psychoholics. That's a new team that I'm on. I have a lot of really good friends with them and over there, and you can actually see a number of them show up in chat from time to time, and I still go to DEF CON every year. At DEF CON 25, there was no badge challenge. The normal cryptographic challenges we usually do wasn't present there because Lost, the one who runs those, didn't go. So we did instead a telefreaking challenge, which was really, really fun, and I didn't realize it was going to be there. There was a guy who ran up to me, and he threw a badge in my lap, and he said, "You dropped your badge and ran away," and it was for the Ellingson Mineral Corporation, which if you know hackers, you know what that's from. It had a phone number on it. I called it, and I was like, wait a minute, this is something, and I brought it back to the team, and then we started cracking on it. We didn't sleep for about 72 hours, and we won. This is the black badge for DEF CON 25. Since Lost wasn't there, they made gold coins, which isn't as aesthetically cool, but it is still solid gold, so, you know, kind of rad. Outside of this, I don't just solve these, I build them. This right here is actually built for the Heartbound ARG. Heartbound, the game that I work on that I talked about earlier in this video, has a massive cryptographic challenge in it. And I'll give you an example of one of the puzzles that I built for this, and yes, all of these puzzles are built by me. Right here, I gave them an image of a whole bunch of different squares of lettuce. I didn't tell them what it is. There's no other information for them. It's just images of lettuce. If they laid them all out in a row, it actually creates a strip of 0 through 9 squares, which means this is a grid of numbers. That grid of numbers doesn't go over 26 at any time, so because of that, it actually comes out to letters. Good, this operation is complete. Proceed to lettuce squares. And the next puzzle is lettuce squares. But there's other harder puzzles in this as well. If we go up here and we find, where is it? Truncated. There it is. Truncated was one of the ones that I gave them where I just gave them an image. This image is a picture of a zipper, and that's it. The zipper is actually a zip file, and inside is a WAV. That WAV is called celestial bodies. If you visualize the spectrogram of that audio, it comes out to all these weird symbols. Celestial bodies is a
all right,
reference
he's just flexing at this point.
to moon type, which is a precursor to Braille.
We get it. You don't cheat.
To practice different things and see if there was different puzzles that I could solve along the way. Inside of this, you can also see that the game released on May 9th, 2024, which was only 2 days before I actually started.
Let's hear his
And that's
final
everything
words.
from me. Now that everything's in one place, it'll be much easier to just direct people to something like this so that they can choose which thing they're angry about and then get extra context for it. And if they decide to still be angry about it,
That's not how it works, buddy. You know they're gonna find something else. But still, this video was
but
amazing.
after that, it's fine with me. I would much rather have this kind of information out there so that people have some other type of voice in the room rather than all of these different content creators releasing content nuke and expose videos without any additional information, especially after they never reached out to me in the first place to find out what was true or not. I understand the idea of anything for views and trying to put content out as quickly as possible, but you guys could do better than that, honestly. To the rest of my community, I'm sorry you're having to go through this and watch this kind of shit go on every day. At least now you have some kind of ammunition to throw at people that are causing more drama in the future. Anyway, I hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll be back on stream tomorrow. See ya.
Whew. It's a good thing I'm not a popular streamer. Too much drama for me. I cannot handle negative feedback. Anyways, interesting video. Now I understand more about what this guy's dealing with. He also, I thought he was going to go through the World of Warcraft drama as well. But maybe... Yeah, that's crazy. He went through everything except for the thing that I thought he was going to discuss. Like, I didn't know about any of these things. I guess these are the things that are the most pressing on his end at this point. Oh, well. Hopefully, the false allegations stop.